It's official. Blockstream satellite exists, and it's broadcasting Bitcoin from space, with plans to cover 99.999996% of the entire world's population, minus a few thousand folks in Antarctica, which seems to be pretty discriminatory to me. So what are the costs for the end user to access this new Blockstream satellite service? Does this system network allow for two-way Bitcoin communication? And even with the possible conspiracy theory, what does this mean for your privacy and the security of the overall BTC blockchain? Let's discuss. Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together, welcome to Minting Coins. So in this episode of the show, we're going over some, definitely some very interesting and some information that we touched upon last night. I really wasn't expecting that the news was going to be released as soon as, the next day. But nevertheless, the news was released and confirmed today that Blockstream is going to be broadcasting Bitcoin from space. And it's just pretty amazing that the Bitcoin, that the blockchain, that the signal is going to reach so many more people across the entire world. People who don't even have internet access are going to be receiving this signal, and it's going to be allowing them to synchronize Bitcoin nodes, Bitcoin blockchain nodes all around the world. But what does this mean? How does the average person connect with this? Is there two-way communication? Well, we're going to be going over all those details and more. So with that, why don't we pop into the market, take a look at what's going on, and then we'll look into the news and let's discuss. Okay, so starting over here at CoinMarketCap.com, we are at a total market capitalization of all the world's Bitcoin at $137 billion. That's $137 billion with a 24-hour volume of over $6 billion, $6.2 billion, and that Bitcoin dominance slightly decreasing, but still over the 50% mark at 50.4%. So down here we see that there is a lot of red going on, and with this red, NEO's up, NEM is up, Dash is up a little bit. All of this is in USD. When we look at it in Bitcoin, what do we have here? We have things are either looking much better compared to the Bitcoin or are just up with greater significance. So again, if you're looking at your prices in USD versus your prices in Bitcoin, depending on what your ultimate goal is, just make sure that you're paying attention to those prices overall. Ethereum 0.07, Bitcoin Cash 0.07 versus the USD price of about 291. And there's big things happening with Ethereum, big developments that are coming out, and big developments with Bitcoin, as we see with the segregated witness about to be fully activated in probably just about a week here. And now with this Blockstream satellite service that we're going to be talking about, it's definitely part of this overall network effect that is just helping Bitcoin to continue its acceleration, continue its expansion across the universe, bringing all of us dead smack toward the moon. So, but with that, yesterday we were at $4,400, and then this morning everyone woke up and we were around $4,000. So we just lost about $400 or $500 in just a little bit of time. And so we were at the all-time highs. We were experiencing these all-time highs again, $4,400, and we know when we reach all-time highs that the price is inevitably going to recede, if not a little bit. And that's exactly what we saw, the price receding down to that $4,000 mark. And this is sort of how I think a lot of people feel when Bitcoin falls, but you know how to hold, and you just know how to hold. You know, it just feels like maybe your whole arm comes off, but you just know it's just a flesh wound. It's going to grow back, and not only is it going to grow back, but you're going to have more arms and more fingers than you know what to do with, or at least more zeros behind, you know, what you had before in Bitcoin terms. And this is probably going to be a bunch of us too. It's going to be old man yelling at clouds. Back in my day, money was made out of paper, and you had to get it from the government. And that still might be the future, but maybe not. Maybe some people will have Fed coin, and some people will have Bitcoin, and maybe there will somehow be a world where all of it exists, or maybe there's going to be a world where there can be only one. And so a lot of people have been talking about the Bitcoin. You know, months ago they were talking about Bitcoin possibly reaching $3,000 by the end of the year. And then they were talking about how the possibility of Bitcoin reaching $5,000 by the end of the year. Well, it's not even the end of August yet, barely halfway through. And the Bitcoin already reaching $4,400. People are pushing the goalpost even further just because we're already at that post. And so we went from 5,000. Now people are saying, well, maybe it's going to hit 7,500 by the end of the year. Other people are saying maybe $15,000 by the end of the year. It's kind of hilarious, because what it comes down to is that none of these people have any idea what it's really going to be by the end of the year. We have, you know, Ethereum Foundation coming out with new information and exciting news all the time. We have Microsoft on some pretty crazy developments. We have, you know, Vitalik Buterin just working on so many additional projects for Ethereum. There's just a lot going on with all the cryptocurrency space, and we don't know if it's ever going to happen, or if it's going to happen before we're done even shooting this video, that any of these cryptocurrencies could just skyrocket for any one of a number of reasons. And ultimately what this is controlled by is the fact that these cryptocurrencies are limited. There's only so many of them. They're market based, which means you have to buy and sell them, and there's only so much available in terms of the current liquidity. So if everybody just suddenly wanted one, if there was a reason for everybody to have one, that price would moon very, very quickly. And so, speaking to some of the excitement that we were talking about for the main topic of today's video, and turning to the news for this video, the Blockstream company has released Blockstream Satellite. And so Blockstream Satellite is going to be broadcasting Bitcoin from space. Wish I had the reverb, and just it would sound cool, maybe. But so this is a satellite system that's going to be streaming Bitcoin blockchain to the whole planet from space. And these were the speculations. This is what we were speculating yesterday. We were hoping that we weren't going to be let down, and indeed we were not let down, because those speculations were correct. This is a satellite system broadcasting real-time Bitcoin blockchain data from these different satellites. And when this launches, as this launches, this Blockstream satellite is going to cover 2/3 of the Earth's landmass. And according to Blockstream, they're going to be seeking to reach almost every single planet on the face of the Earth by the end of the year. So a lot of this is being pushed by the CEO of Blockstream, Adam Beck, who's just a believer and is quoted as saying that Bitcoin is a powerful and transformative internet native digital money that has blazed a trail of disruption with its full potential yet to unfold. Because it's permissionless, Bitcoin enables anyone to freely create new financial applications and other innovations that use blockchain that haven't been possible before. And so this launch of the Blockstream satellite gives people all over the planet an opportunity to participate in Bitcoin, an opportunity to use Bitcoin, even in places where that has previously not been possible. It's been in places of the world where Bitcoin has not gone before, or places of the world where maybe Bitcoin has been, but Bitcoin hasn't been able to connect to the network to send or to receive a message. So most users accessing the Bitcoin blockchain with the free broadcast. So this is going to be a free broadcast. The network is going to currently consist of 3 geosynchronous satellites at various positions over the Earth, and it's going to cover at the beginning 4 of the Earth's 7 continents. We have Africa, Europe, South America, and North America. And Blockstream is going to be, so they're going to be owning these satellites? No, they're not going to own these satellites. They're actually going to be leasing these satellites. And they're going to be leasing the satellites and the bandwidth on existing commercial geosynchronous satellites. The names of these satellites are the Galaxy 18 over North America, the Eutelsat 113 covering South America, and then 2 transponders on the Telstar 11N satellite, one covering Africa and one covering Europe. And so these satellites are not actually going to be broadcasting or mining and operating as full nodes. These are simply going to be broadcasting signals from ground stations. These ground stations are going to be called teleports, and these teleports are going to be are going to uplink the public Bitcoin blockchain data to the satellites in the network, and then the satellites are going to broadcast that data to large areas across the globe. Additionally, the satellites and teleports are being added to coverage across the entire Earth, as we talked about. That's the goal by the end of 2017. And it's possible that these will be able to provide redundant access to the internet when internet access is temporarily unavailable. But according to the company's FAQs on the website for Blockstream, for this new satellite, Blockstream satellite, this is not going to be providing internet access to these parts of the world because of, mainly, I would say because the bandwidth is not there, and they really want to dedicate the bandwidth to the Bitcoin blockchain message transmission, especially realizing that there could be delays and latency, and so all of that data they want to dedicate 100% to the Blockstream, since they are renting these satellites, and those bills have to get paid. This is potentially able to provide internet access, but it's not going to be used for that. So the Blockstream satellite uses what's called GNU Radio, which is an open source software development platform for the software-defined radio, SDR, and it's expected to reduce the costs and streamline developments, eliminating the need of specialized hardware. And Blockstream satellites are going to be using the Fast Internet Bitcoin Relay Engine, known as FIBRE, F-I-B-R-E, which is an open source protocol backed by several years of operating and studying the Bitcoin Relay Network. And so anyone with this technology and this setup is going to be able to receive the signals with a small satellite dish, similar to a consumer satellite TV dish that you would see all over America, and USB SDR, a software-defined radio interface. So as quoted in the Blockstream satellite FAQ, the total equipment cost for a user is about $100, and the software that this is going to be all using, again, is going to be free. So the cost of this application is going to be $100 for people to then receive the signal from the satellites, and then with that signal that they receive, they would then be able to sync their node with the blockchain, as opposed to using an internet connection. Even if you already have an internet connection, you would still be able to receive this signal, even in New York City, from the satellites, theoretically, based on this information. And you would receive it in New York City, and you'd be able to sync with this setup, the blockchain with your node. And why would you do that instead of using the internet connection? Well, if you use the internet connection, then there's information and exchanging in there where people can recognize and realize that there's Bitcoin information going back and forth in that process of syncing your full node. So this is a way where you can sync your node, and that information on the internet is not going to, be there to trace back to you. Excellent. So what else? What other information do we have here to go over? So moving over to the Blockstream.com satellite FAQ page, I figured it'd be good to take a peek at some of these high-level FAQs to see what we have going on here. And so again, their plan is to cover 99.999996% of the world's population, minus a few thousand people living in Antarctica. I think it'd be great for us to have a global internet, and really make sure we get all the people in the South Pole and any of the people at the North Pole too. Santa Claus has to lock in that blockchain, make sure it's all synced, make sure that the elves get paid and everything, that whole supply chain really meets the demand of the year, increasing efficiency for that sort of operation, right? So we want to get the North Pole and the South Pole covered as well. That's all I'm saying. So what do we have here? We have a lot of information. This is going to be linked below. You'll be able to take a look at this yourself and take a peek at the FAQs here. It talks about what the current bandwidth achieved on the Blockstream satellite is so far. And currently the system has been designed to guarantee us 64 kilobytes per second, which they're saying is adequate enough to provide the bandwidth needed to, the means to synchronize the network with just the modest of delays. Does this system allow for two-way communication? So this is saying that currently the system is one-way. So this is just sending information from the latest block and syncing the blockchain from the blockchain to the teleport, which is the ground relay, to the satellite, and then from the satellite broadcasting it one direction to the world, so the world can sync in that direction. So your node can sync and understand what the latest blockchain is, the latest block, and the transaction data for all the transactions that have happened. But if you want to send a transaction or submit a transaction to send that data, to send that message, then there's different ways of doing that. And what this FAQ is recommending is that transactions can be sent using several different other communication channels, such as SMS or conventional satellite internet services. And as the transaction data is very small, even using the most expensive satellite internet service would cost less than 1 penny per transaction. So with that, this can be done via SMS anywhere in the world, or satellite internet service, also very affordably anywhere in the world. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit more in just a moment. So is Blockstream charging fees? Oh, what just happened? Anything? I think I'm still good. Yeah. So is Blockstream charging fees? So the plan is to extend the network over time and to be an open platform for application developers to build on. So what does that mean? That means this is going to be like the iTunes App Store. This is going to be, the Blockstream satellite is going to be the iPhone, and it's going to be open source. And then application developers are going to be able to build onto this Blockstream satellite to allow things to happen, sort of like apps on your phone, except it's going to be apps on the Blockstream satellite. Additionally, they're going to be charging for various future add-ons, such as lower latency services, and they're also going to be making additional features available, advanced features, advanced capabilities and services intended maybe for business use or sort of premium use, and so they're going to be monetizing those as well. But overall, they're going to be keeping and providing end users the blockchain data for free, because it is in their best interests to have as many nodes syncing with Bitcoin and to be pushing Bitcoin out there to as many people, for as many people in the world to access. So it's really in their best interest to, really keep that underlying syncing of the blockchain harmonious with as many people across the world, which also is in line with keeping this technology decentralized. And so they sort of mentioned that here a little bit. So what else can you tell me about the Blockstream satellite? What is it and what is it not? And so the Blockstream satellite is not general internet access. And so again, we were talking about that before. The other article was saying that it could be used as that in the case of a backup, but the website is saying that it's not general internet access. They're also saying that the Blockstream satellite is not a centralized effort, and the fact that it's allowing so many more nodes across the world to access and sync with Bitcoin is actually making Bitcoin more centralized. Well, the reason I have this in red is because if the satellites are leased and there's all these satellites that are submitting this data, well, is it possible that the centralized point of the satellites could get hacked or confiscated by a government or central authority? And then could that signal get corrupted, or the wrong signal get sent out to be, allowing nodes all across the world to, to then be syncing the wrong blockchain? I mean, just throwing that out there, just for the sake of throwing it out there, because it does seem like a possibility inside, the way that the system works, because the satellites are not even owned by anyone in the system, and they are a centralized sort of technology, right? And then third here is that the Blockstream satellite is not dependent on Lightning, and so it's independent of Lightning, and yeah, just interesting fact. So the last part of this video that I just wanted to share with everybody is that there's this really interesting article, and so we're not going to go over this whole article because there's a lot in this article, but this article is how to push Bitcoin via SMS. And so this is just a place for you to start if you're a technical person and you want to figure out how to set up, SMS relay and connect your SMS and your Bitcoin, or your Bitcoin to SMS, so you'll be able to send messages via SMS to the blockchain and be able to send, when I say messages, not just messages, but the value and the currency, the digital asset from one person to another person. You'll be able to do that. Or at least get started with the technical side of how to set up some of this stuff from this awesome article that is going to be shared in the notes below. So with that, what do you think about all this? Do you think that this is just an amazing opportunity for Bitcoin to increase its penetration, its dominance, its brand, its equity all across the entire world? Do you think that this is going to accelerate logarithmically the mass effect and the adoption of Bitcoin, because this is just going to be another major layer in allowing it to reach so many more people, as many as 4 billion people in the world who don't have internet access right now, or another 1.5 or 2 billion who have really poor internet access. And also, what do you think about these satellites? Could this satellite system be a centralized point of this technology? Could a central authority take over the satellite system, or could the satellite system get hacked, satellite hacking? And could that signal, could those signals that are geo-synced satellites, could those potentially through a hacker be sending a wrong signal somewhere down the line, where then the nodes that sync with the satellite signal would then be syncing with the wrong chain, the wrong version of the chain? Just posing some questions out there, not really sure where this is going. There's always some questions, there's always some concerns. It's important that we sort of ask these questions and we get some clarity, but at the same time, this is definitely very promising. This is definitely very supportive in suggesting that this is just going to push Bitcoin even further. It's going to increase the ability for people to receive and accept Bitcoin. While some coins are really focusing on first world adoption, Bitcoin has its eyes seemingly set on really starting with the people who are most in need, the people who are most severely unbanked. And by getting all those people on, it's like a percentage, all of those fractions of a percent is just going to create a tsunami of new users into the Bitcoin network for all of these other technologies and protocols to integrate with as this evolves. It's just really crazy. There's a lot of information here. There's a lot going on. It's very, very exciting. thanks for being a part of this video. Thanks for being a part of what we are talking about and what's going on. Please don't forget to tap that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Check us out on Steemit. And also check out the show notes below. There's definitely some links in there if you're interested in clicking on some of the articles that we were talking about today, getting more information, or learning about what we are doing in the Minting Coins and checking out some of the links that we have here for the Minting Coin Show. But with that being said, we have new videos on the way, lots of additional news, exciting news, advances in technology, advances in this industry that are just pushing and propelling the value that we have today into the value that we're going to see tomorrow. And with that being said, we're going to see that and a whole lot more. Thanks for coming around. We'll be talking again soon. And I'm glad that until then, we're minting coins.